Hello, fellow WordPress developers. So today I wanted to take a first look through the 2021 theme and I wanted to do it with you. Slight confession, I've had a little sneak peek already just to kind of figure out some of the interesting stuff that's going on in there. But yeah, there's a few things to talk through. It's the first time in a while that I've really dug into one of the default WordPress themes. I used to really look forward to the new default themes, and I'd open them up and rip them apart, and I'd actually build a lot of websites based on them back in the early days. And I learned an awful lot from doing that, and I think I've missed out recently by not really keeping up with the default theme development. Because you always learn, there's super clever people, really good developers working on this stuff, and they've got to build themes that, you know, can handle anything that's thrown at them. So these are robust WordPress themes that can handle all kinds of different content and different languages on all kinds of devices and screen sizes. It's pretty phenomenal, the job that these people do. So for the first time in ages, I'm having a proper look. Now, I've kind of been inspired to do this really just, I guess Gutenberg has thrown up a lot of questions in theme development recently and the kind of general direction of WordPress. You know, some people are talking about the death of themes. So I've been kind of wondering where this direction is heading, and how people are going about building things these days, because to be honest, there's not as much content as there used to be. I think in some of the earlier WordPress days, a lot of people were just like pumping out a lot of great resources, lots of blogs out there. You know, a lot of blogs have kind of died with the advent of social media, and I think it's just harder to find stuff to be inspired and to learn about theme development, certainly for me anyway. So whenever I saw this new default theme coming out, I was interested to see how they would tackle some of the problems that I'm experiencing with Gutenberg. And I haven't really been disappointed in what I've seen so far. I'll just share my screen. This is the post that I first saw. So this is on the Make blog, and it is the announcement, the 2021 kind of introduction post by Mel Choice Dwan. I'm sorry if I'm getting that name completely wrong. Awesome name, however you pronounce it. I love it, and one of the best avatars ever. Congrats, Mel, and congrats on great work. So you can read this. I would suggest reading through this blog post first. It just introduces a few of the concepts, and it gives a really good introduction to the theme. Worth noting, of course, that this is still in development, so this is not a finished theme, and you can find to-do items in the source code, so absolutely not a finished product, so we're not going to judge it like one. But I saw this theme and I thought, I really love its minimal style, and I could see me using this as a starter, potentially as a starter theme, or something to hack away at, rather than some of the other recent default themes, which I felt have been like really quite opinionated from a design point of view. So I like the minimal feel. It feels like something that I could add to rather than having to take too much away, and there'd be potentially too much bloat. So that was kind of a first impression just from seeing these initial screenshots. Then I read a post on I think Master WP newsletter linked to this, and we're talking a bit about the default theme, and that got me thinking again. I really need to have a look at this and see what's going on. So here we are. I have went over here and I downloaded the code, and I've installed it on a local site. Let me just grab that out of the way. I've installed it on a local site, just 2021.test. and I've created my first page here. So this is just out of the box. There's nothing. I'm running the latest version of WordPress. I'm running the theme that I downloaded yesterday. So it's probably been updated since then. And I'm gonna go through some code as well. So let's have a look. I've got a little list of things just to go through. Okay. Yeah, one of the things I want to see is color palettes, because what are the kind of color options? So let's just go. Let's see what's in the customizer. Let's have a look at what is in the customizer and what this theme lets us customize. Okay, that's a good start. So active theme, site identity, all the normal stuff. So I could add my logo, I can change the name and the tagline. That's fine. I won't do that right now. And this is for like a favicon, the site icon thing. So that's all pretty normal. Next up is colors. Okay, background color. And here's the palette. So that, yeah, there was mention in the blog post about this pastel color palette. So that's where we can find the color palette. I've got nothing against the green, so let's leave it to green for now. And obviously you could like ramp up the saturation of this and do all kinds of fun stuff, but let's leave it green for now. So that's cool. Okay, so presumably, that's quite easy to customize if you wanted to. In the code, you could create your own custom color palette. Maybe we'll have a look for that a bit later. Background image. I'd like to see how this handles a background image. Right, I need to when I was playing about with this yesterday, I was doing a lot of very blueberry based imagery. So let me try to grab some picture that isn't based on blueberries. We might stick with the food theme though. Have I got a good background image? Oh my god, that's another blueberry. See if that. Oh, it's probably too big. That's the problem with all my stock photography, is it's massive. It's all from Unsplash, isn't it? No, that fits in nicely. Okay. Okay, so I mean, it does what it says. It's a background image. Fill screen. That's a lot better. I mean, obviously I wouldn't use this, but image position stuff is cool. So that's centralized. So if the kind of focus of this background image was to one of the sides or corners, you could do that. What's fit to screen? Okay, no, I don't like that so much. We wouldn't want repeat, so fill screen seems like the right one. Okay, cool. I mean, that's the background image. Obviously awful in terms of like readability, but that's either a problem with the background image, the text color, or background colors for groups and things like that. So let's just remove that for now. I just wanted to see what that looked like. Menus, so we can create menus. Could be worth looking at menus in a bit. Obviously I just want this to be a kind of quick-ish overview of the theme. Widgets, it's using add widgets here to appear in your footer. Okay, cool. So they're using widgets for the footer. I doubt there's any sense of sidebars. It'd be interesting to see if there's any page templates actually. Some homepage settings, that's fine. Static page. Let's make this our homepage. And additional CSS. Yeah, we can just add some CSS in there if we want to. So let's publish that. And that should have saved our homepage now. Yeah, so we're back, and this is now our homepage. Cool. Okay, so there's nothing like major in the customizer there that's like different to what I've seen before. That's fine. Let's jump into this page. This is something I tweeted out earlier, by the way. I kind of accidentally stumbled across this recently, like just adding loads of cover blocks with the same fixed image to them. Gives kind of nice effect, as if you can kind of like there's little windows through to some kind of background. I really like that, especially in the column view. I really like that. Really super easy effect. It's just cover blocks with, let me show you the columns. So if I select one of those, it is a cover block and it is a fixed background, and it's all the same image, so you don't need to like divide the image up. It just works really nicely. So I thought that was cool. So check that out. This brings us on to one thing. This theme has some custom block styles. Now, there's pretty much one custom block style, but for various blocks, and that is the bordered style. So you can see here this cover block. In fact, for all the cover blocks I've used here, and for this media text block, I've used the bordered style. So Mel's obviously made that one of the kind of main features of her theme's design, is this border, which is super cool. I think it looks really smart. And if you haven't made your own block styles before, it is worth having a look at how easy that is. So just while we're on that topic, let's see if I can. Let's make that a little bit smaller. Right, now I am no VS Code wizard, so excuse my clunky use of this amazing bit of software. Let's have a look then. So we're in 2021. Classes, was it in here? Block patterns, block styles, there we go. So here we go. So this is the great thing about this kind of default theme. Here is how you add block styles to Gutenberg, custom block styles. And as you can see, it's really pretty easy. So they're checking to see if the register block style function exists. And if it does, registering the block styles, creating a function, and registering the various block styles. So this is saying, I want to add a block style to my core image. The kind of slug for that is 2021 image frame. The label for that is bordered frame. And you'll see, here's another one, just bordered, bordered. You can see all the bordered. So this is adding a border to the cover block, to the group block, to the media text block, which we saw. There's a different one for latest posts. She's got dividers. Maybe we'll have a look at that. And another borders one for latest posts. So you can see how easy it is to add custom styles, and then all you need to do is add the CSS for those styles. So I wonder if we can see where that's happening. So if I just take, for example, the cover block. So let's go into assets, have a look at the SASS blocks. So this is another cool thing we'll come back to. It's just the CSS structure. I like it. Let's have a look at cover style, and if I just do a search for border, there you go. So if it has the style, so is style will be output automatically, and then if I'd kept that other window open, 2021 border would have been the kind of style slug. So then it adds this bit of CSS, and that is just a border. I mean, it looks a bit fancy because they're using custom variables, so like custom properties, which are CSS variables. So this is saying the border width should be 3 times the separator height. So this is how you use a custom variable, custom property. Then it's solid, and then again the border color is also a custom property. So that's really cool. There's extensive use of custom properties in this theme, which I really like, because that's another thing I've been trying to use more and more of, and it's really cool to see how they're doing it. So they've got loads of these global custom properties, which you can modify very easily, and it just changes everything across the site super quickly, just by changing one variable. Really, really cool stuff. It is the future, and interesting to see that for every block there are editor styles and front-end styles. Now I haven't gone into, let's get these actually both open properly. So that's the front end editor. So there are going to be some differences here. It'll be really interesting to see what they are, because I'm not actually sure. Be interesting to see if those are practically the same, or if they're different. And if they're practically the same, why are there 2 files? So something to look at in the future. This is the kind of thing I want to investigate, really. So that was a bit of block styles, showing you how to add them in PHP and how to style them, and then how they actually, get rendered in the editor. All pretty straightforward stuff. You don't have to be super scared. No JavaScript. So if you are a fearful of JavaScript, there isn't any there. So that's super cool. Okay, what else was I going to have a look at? Let me just look at my notes again. So color palettes we had a little look at. Block patterns we haven't looked at yet. So I think this theme comes with some block patterns. Now, block patterns are not as discoverable as I think they should be. They're here. So big plus button at the top. You can choose either blocks or patterns. And there are 2 2021 specific block patterns. Now, if you don't know what a block pattern is, it's essentially a predefined collection of blocks with predefined content that you can reuse and modify. So if you have a nice little structure like this, so this is, let's have a look at this block pattern. Like, what is it? Okay, so it is a media and text block, but the image over the media image has been kind of predefined. The settings have been predefined, and the content on this side, it's an H2 followed by a separator followed by a paragraph. So all those things have been just come, so that we could easily use this pattern again, but for a different image. So if I had another, is this Van Gogh? Yeah. If I had another Van Gogh painting, I could duplicate this or add another one of these, flip it round, add a different painting in, change the title, change the, and it would just be able to very quickly spin up exactly the same layout over and over and over again. And that's what block patterns are all about. Let's just have a quick look at the other one. Interesting that it puts it there. Why did it put it there? Because did I have this selected? If I have that selected and add plus, presumably it goes underneath, right? So I'll go for another pattern. 2 images. Yeah, it does. Okay. So I'll put it underneath the block you have selected, like not right at the bottom, which is good. So that's just another block pattern. So this is, again, media and text block. The media is on the left here. You can see the photo. And then they've actually added, instead of text, this is just like a block area, isn't it? Like you can add whatever blocks you want to this side, to the text side. So they've added another image to that. So just to provide that kind of slightly different layout. Yeah, so I like it. It's good, and you can make this bordered. What would that look like? Yeah, all right, maybe not. So cool. Those are the block patterns that it comes with. Just to kind of, yeah. So once it's in the editor, there's no reference to the block pattern anymore. It's just, this is a media and text block. So it is just like presets, which is cool. Okay, what was next? Block patterns and block styles. Let's just have a quick look at the code then to see where these block patterns are coming from. Here we go. And again, no scary JavaScript for us, PHP people. Just doing a quick check there so this is just creating the category of 2021. So whenever I went plus pattern, you can see 2021, the category there. So it's creating that category, and you've got other categories like buttons and columns and things. So that's what that was doing. And then presumably it uses this category here. Yeah. So register the block pattern. So you're saying, I want it to go in this category. This is what it's called. This is its kind of slug. And then we've got like title. Oh, there's the category. Maybe is that both? Yeah. Viewport width. That's interesting. Wonder what that means. I mean, I know what viewport width is, but I wonder what that means in this particular context. And then the content. So this is like It's literally the block like markup, like what goes into like the content. You've got like some specific stuff here for template directory. So this is interesting. So earlier when I had a quick look through, I was wondering where these images, so within the theme directory we've got assets directory and then images, and there's these images. I was wondering what these were used for. These are used to populate the blocks, the block patterns. So you can see here assets, so get template directory, URI, assets, images, and then the Bracus woman rocking in a cradle. So there's that there. So that's cool. Mystery solved. So there you go. That's how you add block patterns. Again, not horribly scary, and really super like useful. I think that's going to be amazing to use those. Something else is block variations. So there aren't any here. Something that hasn't been very well documented. I had my say on that on Twitter. But block variations are kind of somewhere in the middle between block styles and block patterns, I would say. So you can use a combination of styles and variations to really create quite dramatically different blocks. Maybe, do you know what? That's for another video. I'll go into block variations in another video. Interestingly, I can't see here that they are using any block variations, so that's kind of interesting. Okay. Next up, let's just quickly, this is what I wanted to look at. The SASS structure. So first of all, we've got SASS files to work with, which is amazing, specifically SCSS files. So if I go style, those were the specific ones. Let's just close all this down again. Collapse all this. So here we go. Within style.scss, there's some great stuff in here telling us what these different categories are and what's inside them. So it starts with settings, then we've got some tools to use. I haven't looked at the tools yet. I mean, I'm sure those will be interesting. So that's where some mixins and functions and things go. Then generic stuff, so like normalizing, setting breakpoints, vertical margins, resets and normalize. Interesting. Clearings, that'll be interesting to look at as well. Let's have a quick look at clearings. I wonder why things are being cleared these days. I mean, I guess floats are still used. All right, elements, so block quotes, forms, headings, links, lists, media. Okay, so an element is like, seems to be like a more micro level than a block, so something that could go potentially within a block, which is kind of interesting. So headings, but headings are blocks, and block quotes are blocks. Well, they can be. So yeah, interesting. Have to figure that one out at some point. Help me out if you know why they're separated. And then a list of blocks. So all of the blocks are in here, all of the default blocks. Now, what's interesting about that is that I think this theme, let me just double check it, is removing the default Gutenberg style sheet. Let's double check that theory. So cover blocks. So where are these styles coming from, basically? Themes, style.css, yeah. Let's go to our network tab. Let's go to our CSS. Let's reload the page. Yeah. So this is something I was interested in because I found overwriting the default Gutenberg block styles just to be a real pain. No, they are there. Block library. That's really interesting. I thought that they'd been DQ'd. Block library style.min. I mean, that's got it all in there. Cover image. Interesting. That is interesting. So where, I mean, presumably if we scroll down, we'll find it. There it is. Yeah, it is. It is. Okay. So I wonder if this theme hasn't felt the need to DQ that. It does DQ it though. It must re-enqueue it somewhere. I wonder if this theme has kind of not felt the need to do that because it sticks so closely to the defaults. I found it a real pain to override things, and actually it's something that I'm going to change my approach going forward. I basically tried to be very, very clever, essentially just so that my columns would line up the way I wanted them to, and it proved to be a real pain across the board, and added about probably twice as much CSS as I needed to. So I'm gonna change the way I do things, and I'm gonna have a look at how these guys have done it. These people have done it. Okay, so that is interesting. Where was I? Yeah, blocks. So there are specific styles for each of these. So, okay, so let's take something that I was going to say nobody ever uses, but when it comes to WordPress, millions of people use the edge cases, don't they? What is something that is a bit generic? Tables probably aren't. Min width 240. So, for example, is border collapse not part of the original style sheet? Stuff to look at here, definitely. And obviously, they're wanting to pull in some of these custom properties as well for each of these blocks. So that's something that I'm sure is going to be in a lot of them in terms of spacing and things like that. So that, yeah, why? And yeah, really, it's really interesting stuff. So for example here, yeah, font families and sizes and weights and things are going to want to use all these new variables that they've set up. That is essentially what that is for. Okay, good. That makes some sense. I mean, this is, for me, a big problem for Gutenberg, is this duplication. For every block, having a style and an editor style sheet is just, I don't know. You can be a bit lazy about it. I have been in the past to pretty good effect, and then I've just overridden the stuff that it breaks. So I might continue that going forward. What they class as components. Components. Okay. Yeah. So I would usually have a modules, and that would be things like header and footer and comments, and then I would have templates. So I'd probably add a modules. My 6 would be modules, my 7 would be templates, and then utilities. Interesting. They've got some accessibility stuff, some color palette stuff. We probably would have expected colors to be higher up here, in settings or something, but I'm sure there's a good reason. Measure. Okay. And then a print style sheet. Yeah, all right, good stuff. It's all really interesting. So there seems to be a lot of emphasis on handling colors. I'm not going to get into this because I haven't dug deep enough myself. But if I for example load up the classes, most of these are to do with colors. So class 2021 custom colors, class 2021 customized color control. This is to do with the customizer, adding stuff to the customizer. This non-Latin languages, yeah. And then this SVG icons I want to get into. I'll have a look at how they're handling icons, because again, it's just one of those things. I'm never sure if I'm doing this the right way, and really clever people build themes like this, so it's always good to see how they do things. As well as the PHP classes there for color manipulation. If we go into assets and JavaScript, there's also stuff there. So I think this is a color. Yeah, lots of color stuff here. So converting hex codes and things, getting the luminescence, palette color pickers, and then there's some navigation stuff. So this is the kind of burger navigation and drop downs and things like that. So that's kind of standard stuff. Includes anything interesting in here? Block patterns, block styles, custom CSS. Is that just grabbing stuff from the customizer? Would have thought that happened anyway. Not sure what that function does. Menu functions, that's adding like drop down arrows and things like that through the walkers. Starter content, so there's some, not sure exactly how that works, but you can have some starter content on the site. Bunch of theme template functions here to go through at some point to see what interesting stuff they're doing. Get a custom logo there, all that kind of stuff, and then what they call template tags. Let's have a look at that. Posted on comment counts. Yeah, loads of interesting stuff. All right. What have they got in terms of template parts? That's all kind of standard, I think. Yeah. What's our functions file look like? I'm always interested to see what people put in their functions files, because I would assume that if you've got an includes directory that you just put everything in there in an appropriate file. So like all the theme supports, for example, like could go somewhere useful. A lot of this is theme support stuff, actually, if you look at it. Theme support. Editor color palettes, for example. There's like, the colors. There's some to-do stuff. Adding some gradients. There's no gradients yet. More theme support. And there's like, registering sidebars and stuff. So, and here's your scripts. So I would usually have like an in-queues file just for that stuff. So I wonder how they decide what to put, what to separate out and what to keep in here. I would find that really, really interesting. And then they're just requiring all the, you can see here, requiring all of the files in the includes directories and the classes directories. Cool. All right. I think, is that enough of a quick whiz through? Maybe that's just quickly, just before I stop. Let's go back into SASS settings, global. Yeah. So this is the fun stuff for me right now, is all of these custom variables that are being used throughout the site. So you can see, like, wow. Header letter spacings. That's quite granular. Entry, author, bio, font family. So that's calling another custom property, you can see there. But this stuff's so cool. I mean, I haven't really fully realized the power of it yet. I'm still, even though I gave a talk about it kind of years ago now, I'm still getting to grips with it all. It's it's interesting stuff. Just to kind of give you a bit of an example of like what these things can do. So if I just scroll right down, am I going to see some, do you know what? Let's just select that. Yeah. So then you can see all of the root. So global font size base, interestingly, that is not, the other font sizes aren't based on that, which I find interesting. But like, I mean, none of these are making any difference because I don't have a lot of content on the screen. What can I do that would show? Because there was like global spacings and things like global colors, list font family. Oh wow, yeah, like it's even it's even saying there are loads of these. So what are we on? Green. I mean, this is probably only going to change the background because we don't have any other elements on this screen based on that color of green. But you know, if you build it in a modular way like this, for example, spacing rules, I'm sure there's some like global like base kind of spacing rule. In fact, let me see if I can find out what it's called. So this is baseline unit. I want to see where that global spacing unit. Let's try to find this and see what it does if we have a little play with it. Let's filter it here. Why is that not filtered anything? Why can't I still see everything? Global. There it is. So global spacing unit there. I mean, again, like I don't have anything on screen to be useful. No, it's not going to be particularly useful. But that's the kind of thing that like you could dramatically alter the look of your theme just by that's doing something. Horizontal spacing, for example, and then we could play with the vertical spacing. Let's just see what that does. Wow. Yeah. So those are all spaced out a lot more now. But you can see how you can just by changing one thing, it kind of cascades down and can change the whole theme, just the look and feel of the whole theme. So cool stuff with custom properties, or aka CSS variables. So there you go. That's all I'm going to do. Quick run through of what's kind of new about the theme. I like it. I think it's going to be a really good starting point. It's going to be a great resource to learn from. I love the way it's structured. Love to see a little bit more commenting in some of the PHP. But apart from that, I think it's great. Well done team. And looking forward to seeing how it progresses, and looking forward to dissecting it a little bit more. Thanks for joining me if you watch this. Myself and Mark at High Rise Digital try to put out some good developer content. We do little short videos, we do slightly longer videos like this, and we do our WP Cafe show where we chat to other WordPress professionals about various topics. So if you enjoy this and enjoy content like this about WordPress development and WordPress in general, please do subscribe to the channel, and our videos will appear in your YouTube feed, and you'll get notified if you ask to be notified. So please do that, and hopefully see you again soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.